Wheel talk alert.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Wheel Talk, the podcast all about electric wheels, or PEVs, personal electric vehicles. As always, I'm joined by Steve. Not as always, last time and this time.
At least.
And this time round, after doing the last one and spending like 3 days editing it because we were such perfectionists and we wanted to make sure it was as good as possible, we've decided to make this one a lot more relaxed, a lot less cuts, and just a lot more conversational. So you'll notice this one is done slightly different, so make sure you tell us if you like it, tell us if you don't like this style. Also, hopefully you'll notice a slight improvement in sound and lighting. We've invested a little bit into the podcast. We've got some new some new microphones. We've got some nice new lights, so hopefully, we don't know yet, hopefully the audio is much nicer. And also, just the way we talk about things is going to be a little bit different. This week, I've got the agenda and I'll be raising the topics. Next week, Steve will have the agenda and he'll be raising the topics. So, with that said, Steve, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be back on
Wheel
Talk.
Wheel Talk.
Wheel Talk.
Come on.
We're talking, we're chatting.
Exactly.
But it's Wheel Talk.
So, lots has happened over the last couple of weeks. I know we said every 2 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
Oh, geez, time flies.
I know. Well, we've been super busy at the shop, which we'll talk about. There's been a few things come out. We've had the Extreme arrive, which we've been testing.
Yes.
So the first topic I wanted to talk about, I know we've both got different opinions on this, different experiences, is the Extreme riding, spring versus air. So we've had the Extreme, well, you can talk about this. We've had the Extreme, we've taken it out bush, we've taken it city riding.
Yep. It is the Extreme with the 950-pound spring. So we haven't had the AirShock model at this stage to compare it to, but we've certainly ridden on, pavement and off-road trails to sort of test how the Extreme with the spring sort of performs.
Yeah, and Pagoda's said that the 950 is good for what weight? Up to
80 kilos approximately.
80 kilos in a standard riding environment, right? So, because what we've discovered is our tech Ken, who does all of our...
Well, he's a lightweight,
he's
but
65 kilos max.
Yeah, but when he does some jumps...
Yeah, so when he's adjusted that spring so it's got good travel, he can bottom it out on a pretty basic jump. Yeah. So it's really interesting that...
But when just normal riding, it's fine.
Exactly.
But once he starts jumping, you can hear the bang as it sort of bottoms out. So that was why we then tightened it. But then we noticed it didn't bottom out in the same way, but the travel was substantially reduced.
Yeah. So we adjusted that spring and it went from being... felt like a improved T4 suspension. It felt really nice.
It was very springy.
It was really springy. It wasn't overly springy. It was really nice, but it was really easy to bottom out. Like you could do it, I could do it. Obviously, Ken could do it. So once we torsioned that spring down, it went to, I don't know, it felt like a flat V11 to me. Like it was just like, or an old S18. That's what I said actually. I said it feels like an S18. Yeah. Like an old one that had been used and abused, and it just didn't have any sort of. It wasn't bottoming out, but it just felt really.
Yeah.
So we took a trail riding, like really trail riding, like jumps and off-road and routes and rocks and stuff like that. And I don't think you bottomed it out too much.
But we'd made it tighter by that point.
But I've got 20 kilos on you, so every single bump I went over, this thing was bottoming out, just smashing and banging.
I also felt that the suspension wasn't as responsive for me on that trail.
I agree. But we did make the mistake of riding the S19 that morning. And we took the Pattern with us as well. So when I wasn't riding the Extreme, I was on the Pattern and vice versa. So we were jumping off, one extreme to the other. That was intended. And so it's hard to go. It's like jumping out of a lowered Honda Civic into a Cadillac, right?
Completely different wheels. Different types of suspension. Exactly. But it definitely made us aware that having an air shock, instead of the spring on the Extreme, would definitely fit our needs a lot better.
100%. Yeah, and we both agreed on that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing you noticed, and the other thing you spoke about, it affected me a little bit, but not so much, was the pad placement.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird. It was hard to find a nice place to put our feet.
The rear pad's good for
rear pad's
leaning on, but the front pad, unlike the T4, it seems to have been moved forwards, and I just don't utilize it that much. Unless you're going up a steep hill where you really push your shins in, you just don't use them.
Exactly. No, I found exactly the same thing. And also when you lower them down so you can get some foot grab, I guess you call it, on the lower padding on your jumps.
That's right.
well, for me it was okay, but it was weird for you. It was too low, and we had to lower it, raise it back up. So it's
but the system for moving them with the little holes was great. It was adjustable. But what we found was just that the front pads definitely didn't matter where you position them, you just couldn't really utilize them too well. And but the locking in of the shoes, definitely easy to do by just undoing the little hex bolts and just move it up, because there's dedicated holes in, so you can easily move them into a defined location.
Now, something we both loved about the Extreme, the acceleration.
This
thing, and I've seen people talk about it. I've seen like the tag, the throwaway tagline saying, the torquiest wheel ever made. I don't know if that's true or not, but this thing it
takes off.
It takes off, and it's dangerous to the point where you're going a lot faster than you realize, a lot quicker than you're used to.
Ken told us when he took off, he got right up to
between here and the shop
when he was testing
70 plus 72 km an hour.
He got there quicker than he realized. And it wasn't until he started checking his speed that he realized he was already at 70.
And he came back like just laughing and buzzing and talking. He
was wrapped with it.
He was. He really enjoys that wheel. And I think for him, especially because he's getting into jumping and he's starting to do some really big jumps now on the trails, he's definitely going to want air suspension as well.
Another thing that he mentioned was that as a light rider, being 65 kilos, Ken normally has to really push into pads, but to make it accelerate hard. But he found that the Extreme accelerated effortlessly for him. So
correct.
So that was an experience for him.
One last negative, and I hate to end on negative. Hopefully you've got another positive. One thing, and we both laughed when we saw this and scratched our heads, was the speaker. There's absolutely no point in having that speaker in there. This is my opinion. And again, this is, comparing to even like the 18XL or the S18 speaker.
We were spoiled.
Yeah, we were
just
spoiled.
having had the S19 speakers blaring our music.
But what I'm saying is even the 18XLs and the 16S speakers are better. This is like, it reminds me of, if you knew this, the Begode Hero has a speaker. It sounds like that. It's just it's a waste of time. Like I would scrap that completely and put a better grab handle here or something.
Yeah, and the other thing, there's two more things I can think of. They're a little bit of an the kickstand. You've got to put the wheel right back down onto its back. And then of course,
it's gonna fall over.
And of course the little light up handle / speaker sits right close to the ground. So it's gonna, if you're not careful, you're gonna hit rocks with it and things. So you really want to be choosy in the location that you set it down.
However, and Steve might not want me saying this, a kickstand that sticks out too much can be dangerous. As Steve now knows.
I've got a nice
I'll take a photo and put it on the screen.
I've got a nice little patch on the back of my leg when we were doing some jumping.
Doing some jump practice out the front.
We were going over ramps, and one of the times I sort of landed, stepped off the wheel a bit, and it kind of hit a little wall instead of jumping over it. And actually the corner of the kickstand kicked up.
The grass was long.
And the height of the concrete wall I should have lifted. Just hit it and then stopped, and I just stepped off it, and then it flicked up and hit me in the back of the calf, and got half my leg is bruised from it. Kickstands can be a pain, but this one is located right up there, just below the shock, so it means you need to sit it right on its back in order to make it, sit properly.
So all in all, though, happy with the performance.
There was one more thing.
Okay, go.
There was one more thing. Sorry. The spring coming in the box. It was a bit of a nightmare. It wasn't installed. It was just sitting there loose. Obviously,
so
the box,
the main strut where it connects underneath the light
just wasn't connected.
So
it was just sitting there.
And there's probably an easy way to do it. We may have been like two morons in a factory.
I don't know what it was, but
we could not get it on
until we discovered that you released the
torsion or
the dampening or whatever it was on there,
Yes,
and then all of a sudden we were able to push it into place and put the bolt through the linkage. Before that, we were struggling, and it was out by like a centimeter to half a centimeter,
and
it
was millimeter close. It was a centimeter out.
And not only that, the wheel needed to have the two bolts on the top to release the suspension, because it was kind of stuck down in that position. Easy to fix, but without any knowledge of it, we were like, is this normal?
So what we'll do is, once our Extremes arrive, which are about 4 weeks away, we'll actually shoot a video for all of our spring customers, basically doing a step-by-step how to install the spring.
Sure.
So it just makes it a lot easier, because we stood there for a good 30 minutes scratching our head trying to get it, and once we got it, it still wasn't quite right, and then Ken arrived and he did it in a matter of 5 minutes. So
Yeah, it helps to adjust
Yeah,
the little bit at the
There's
bottom. The dampener obviously just stopped it from getting half a centimetre in. Being able to compress inward better to fit it. But yeah, simple little thing, but no instructions, of course, in the box. So that was something that when we got alerted to. It was
Full reviews coming out soon, so Steve will be filming that either Friday or early next week.
Yeah, we've put a bit of time in on the wheel so far, but we just felt that it was a little premature to release early because one, we've been learning a lot about the spring and we've had to change the settings on the spring a fair bit to understand why it was bottoming out, why the travel was not enough. We're the wrong weight for that spring, and while spring has its advantages from a maintenance perspective, the air shock, as we saw with the S19 and others, it can be get it sweet right from the start.
Also, there's been a couple of firmware upgrades, so we've been doing
those
as well.
yeah.
So we wanted to test those upgrades before we did our final appraisal.
That's right, and we just didn't want to come out with a hype video based on our first initial riding experiences, because sure, it's got a lot of power, it's got upgraded specs, but we want to have an all-rounded review of it. So that's coming soon.
Next topic, really quickly moving on, V14. So since our last video, they released all the information.
Yes, the launch from the 1st of September.
All of the speculation is now answered. So it's looking like an amazing wheel. Yeah. There was one thing we got wrong that we heard through the community. We actually heard
the battery cells.
Yep. So they did quote 50 S's, but they're going to be 50.
Well, they didn't quote 50 S's. That was the speculation.
That was a speculation. Sorry, nobody quoted.
But it's the 50 GB cells, which is just sort of like an updated 50E Samsung cell. So they're not a high discharge cell. InMotion, we've asked the InMotion engineers about it. They don't believe that that's necessary for this wheel.
High capacity,
but it is a good capacity, and it's a good quality cell for safety, life cycles, capacity, etc.
One thing we did see that was really cool was the quick remove batteries.
Yes,
really cool.
When Electric Dreams
again was very happy with that.
Did their quick little tear down. It only takes a couple of minutes per side to take off the relevant little bumper sections and undo the bolts to hold the batteries on.
And one question,
quite convenient.
And one question Kim was asking, again, our tech, who's the jumper, and he's going to be trying this as soon as we get our hands on one, or we'll be asking InMotion if it's possible, is can you remove 2 of the batteries and still ride it?
Run with half the battery.
Can you
capacity.
remove half the batteries to remove that weight? So to make it a really extreme jumping wheel, to make that wheel a lot
just
more
for
lightweight.
Lower capacity, but hopefully sufficient.
Yep.
For
along with
doing some jumps.
Along with the information, we also got the price. So we've now updated the price on our website, which is,
well, we've got it at Australian dollars 5,999, but I think it was 3,299. Was it in US?
Something like that,
was the retail price?
Are you sure about that?
So our AUD price is 5,999.
Yes.
Okay.
No. Yes. No, it doesn't sound right, does it?
Sounds like a lot.
It does. I think we've got it at 4,999. We started at 5,199 or something like that, but we
10,000
based on it was 10,000, wasn't it?
It was
10,000.
The reason we don't know this is we've been changing.
It's because it's changed a lot, and also the Australian dollar versus the US dollar has fluctuated a lot in the last 3 weeks.
4,999.
4,999. It was just over 5 before, and now it's 4,999, not 5,999.
Did you see my face when he said 5,999? I was like, really? So 4,999. But we will revisit this topic and talk about it slightly later on, because I've got something on the agenda I want to talk about, which is going to lower that price even more.
That's right. Yep.
So we'll come back to that.
Yep.
Next on my agenda, I want to talk about K6. So we talked about that as well. We had them coming in.
Yes.
We did a pretty sizable order to get that buy price down, so we could offer it as low as possible into the Australian market. Yep. I think we've got 2 left out of the shipment. I think 2, maybe 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
So been received really well. We've seen them. The ones that have been bought have gone all over Australia. I think there's one gone to Tasmania as well. They're due in 4 weeks.
Yep, they're about 3.5 to 4.5 weeks, depending on how long it takes to get through customs.
Now we could have had them by now, but there was some slight upgrades made, so we said hold off. We want the newest one. So when they do arrive in 4 weeks, that'll be the most recent batch available. So that's an update on the K6.
Yes. Next
topic. We're getting this really well. Next one's a fun one. Ambassador program and loyalty program.
Yes.
Now this is a
Behind the
brainchild.
scenes,
A brainchild of Steve. Steve wants to do this.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it for a while. Behind the scenes, I've been
for 2 years.
It seems like it. Maybe it has been.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really wanted to introduce a loyalty program for our customers, which basically rewards existing customers for the orders they've made with us, as well as new customers coming into our fold in future, to just sort of unlock discounts.
It's just to say thank you, right? It's just
merchandising
it's just
that we can give. That's it. But also just to reward them for their continued support and dealing with E-RIDERZ. So yeah, that's something I've been working on for a while. It's more how it all works and fits in together that I've been working on in the background. But
it's going to launch soon.
It's pretty close.
Yet.
Yeah, we're still testing it with different systems.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a whole video probably on it just to talk you through it, because there'll be lots of benefits and lots of sort of ways to make it work for you. The other one is the ambassador program, and I want to clarify, it's not ambassador so much for E-RIDERZ. It's more of focusing around ambassador for the sport. So we want to connect with people out in the community who are
EUC lifestyle.
EUC lifestyle. They really do a positive image of the EUC brand, the EUC vision. They're the people who, when they're riding down the footpath and you hear kids or adults say, "Wow, what's that?" They stop and they want to have a chat and talk about it and show them how it works. We want to find ambassadors. We want to find ambassadors. We want to support ambassadors. We want to do whatever we can to, and we mentioned it in the previous podcast, we want to do whatever we can to grow the sport and to grow the positivity of its image, because that's a really big thing, right? We said last time we made this that EUC is the future of transportation, but it'll only get there if it has a positive image. Yeah. So we need to pair with, we need to collaborate and pair with the right people.
Yeah, it needs to be out there in the public's eye and in a positive way. And also, ideally, families and elderly and young people, commuters. It's, electric unicycles are super versatile, so we want to be able to represent that through our riders in the community, as well as, in particular, our select ambassadors that we'll partner with.
Yep. So both of those are coming, so keep an eye out. Keep an eye on our social media. We will be launching it really, really soon. Yeah. Next one. This is a really big one.
Oh, I'm waiting. What is it?
Group buys.
Are
you ready to talk about that?
Oh gosh. Yes. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's try.
All right. So we need to stay adaptive, right? We need to make sure we're always doing the best we can to service the customers in the best way possible. And we're starting to see. We noticed it with the V14. We noticed it with the Master. I think we noticed it with the T4. That it wasn't just one person from here, one person from there, one person from there. It was groups of people who were all mates.
We're at the stage where I think the EUC communities in different regions have grown, they've come together. We helped to sort of drive that years ago. And, bring people together, suggest new people to join the groups. And it's finally gotten to the point now where, they basically look to each other for feedback, for learning to ride, for points of contact, experts in their field, for riding, obviously.
So we want to reward that. We want to find a way to make it work for them and work for us. But also, we're getting sick and tired of getting phone calls of people who have bought wheels and don't have any support. Yeah,
because there's numerous channels for people to potentially get wheels. And
whether it's stores that no longer sell them, or it's people who have bought them secondhand, or it's someone who's bought it off someone who's imported it and they're not supporting any warranty.
Sure.
We get, and without exaggerating, I'll shoot low. We get between 5 and 8 calls a day asking for parts, and we carry all the parts. We've got them all downstairs, but we've had to start saying no to people because we have to carry them for our customers.
We have to prioritize our customers. Otherwise, basically, if we just let them go to everybody, then we end up being short, because the time between shipments is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks.
We just got a delivery today. I think there's how many master boards? There's master boards, there's T4 boards, there's the suspension tubes. It's important we carry that, and that's why we want to do the group buys, so that people can get a really good deal. They can get delivered to one address. Yeah,
the idea is that we want to have members in the community work together to collaborate. So, when a new model's coming out and there's, it takes, 2, 3, 4 months sometimes to launch a model. It's the next generation of tech, and people are keen to get on board and upgrade because they love the sport and the riding so much. So it makes sense for people to work together, be a single point of delivery, because logistics costs for our business has continued to grow over the last 12 to 24 months
Ever
to
since
the
COVID,
point where
right? Literally
it's
since
just
COVID, the prices have gone through the roof.
doubled, like doubled in cost, to the point where we can spend anywhere in excess of $150 to $300 per heavy unit, depending on where it's going in the country. So instead of just sending out 5, 6, 7, 8 wheels to a location, let's incentivize working together, having
Put them on one pellet.
having a single point of contact for delivery, and pass along the savings basically, and also because it shores up our time and it's a lot
so much
more
quicker.
efficient for us, we're going to pass along savings that way as well.
Now, we're not going to give you all the prices now, but the way it's going to work is for new models coming out. So, for example, the V14, there will be a group by price listed on the product page. But that doesn't mean group buys aren't available for every single wheel we sell. So there will be a separate email address. And if you've got, say, a polo team that wants to get into EUC polo,
that's another area to chat about. But
it's just funny. If you've got an EUC polo team and you want to buy 10 16Xs, email us at the email address which will be on the website, and we will be able to work out where you are, the shipping costs, do you have a forklift, and then we'll be able to do a really, really nice discount.
Yeah, the shipping cost split across the number of units going to one site already creates its own saving.
It's crazy.
But in addition to additional discounts that we'll do for all of them going to a single point, and working with a single order for a bulk buy, then it's going to offer great value.
Yeah, but to give you one example, can I give an example of the V14?
Sure.
So to give you an example of the V14, the buy price, if you buy one V14, we've actually got the wrong number here, it's even lower, so I'm going to give them the lower number.
Yes.
It's 4899.
Oh, yes.
So our website's
That's because what we've been doing in the last week is negotiating bulk pricing with the manufacturer.
So the people who have already pre-purchased, they will still only be charged the 4899.
That's right,
so
they'll get the lower price. Yep.
So when you buy one, it's 4899. When you buy 5, it comes down to 4599. When you buy 10, it comes down to 4399.
Substantial savings there.
Huge savings per unit. So
and the freight costs go down per unit as well. So
and even cheaper, even cheaper if you've got an industrial address or a business address with a forklift.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
Keep an eye on that. Again, we'll do some posts. We'll probably send an email out to all of our email subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the email. With whenever a new wheel comes out, we will do a group buy deal. But as I said, it's available on every single model.
Yes.
Right.
Big news.
Anything you want to say on that before I move on?
No, I think we'll have to chat about it in more detail later.
Exactly. It's going to be detailed.
It's going to have a big impact.
100%. Totally agree.
So,
right. State of Bikes. Again, we talked about State of Bikes last time. It's now officially launched. stateofbikes.com.au. The parent company is now live. We've got all of our photos on E-RIDERZ.com.au, so you can check those out.
Yeah, new bikes coming in like 4 weeks or so.
Yep.
So we've got, so at the moment, the State of Bikes range has sort of like one spec model
Carbon Scout.
for the Carbon Scout. And the new stock coming has a standard model and a higher spec model, which is torque sensor, some more premium parts and comforts. And they're all now on the website in new colors, and they're available to pre-order.
All right, next topic for you. This is one I'll let you talk about because you know the people better than me.
What's that?
Creators, local creators. So we've got there's a new guy who's popped up who here's a customer.
Yeah, like we mentioned
and we didn't we didn't realize it was him. We were watching his content and enjoying it, and then we didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, exactly. We mentioned on the last podcast that we wanted to bring in wheels to be able to help creators have access to products and things. And just, during the week after that, we came across EUC 360, which is
Put his link in the description.
Yeah, which is actually one of our Brisbane customers, Henry. And he's got an up-and-coming awesome YouTube channel doing some really quality content there, reviewing the V12, talking about how riding EUC compares to other methods of commuting. He did a comparison between public transport and driving in a car and all the costs, and it was just it's really entertaining as well as informative. So just a good shout out to Henry, EUC 360.
And I think
congrats.
Sorry to talk over you, but I think what we were talking about before about potential ambassadors,
Yeah. Yep.
to get a good idea of what we feel an ambassador would look like, is check out his channel.
Yeah.
The way he projects himself, the way
He's talking about the
community.
advantages of the lifestyle.
Exactly.
You know, how his life has improved using EUC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Great content.
Also, one of our other local creators had a bit of an accident.
Oh yeah, Josh. Brought him back.
He's feeling better now though, which is nice.
Yeah, he's on the mend.
Yep.
I saw that he'd
doing some skids. I saw he posted a short today doing some skids. I don't know how you skid a V13.
Yeah, he's impressive on his V13. I personally couldn't do half of what he does.
Yeah.
When it comes to jumps and the riding that he does. So, but yeah, no, he had a little stack and hurt his ankle. But I think he's had a bit of rest and he's back and ready to. I think he's actually he's planning to come in the store
to try the extreme.
To try the extreme, to have another ride on S19, and also he said he was keen to try the pattern as well.
Side note, everyone who rides that S19, it gets knocked in the community. I think everyone who's come in and tried it has really enjoyed it.
They've been surprised. Yeah.
It's torquey. It gets up.
It
gets up and goes.
It's
a
light
lot
but
of fun.
torquey.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the suspension is good. And yeah.
All right. EUC watches. So we had, I don't know, 50 of these things, and they sat there for ages, and then we couldn't do the software, and then there was a firmware update, and we couldn't do it.
It was a bit of a job.
Nightmare.
Just the firmware updates.
Every single
They sometimes stop, and then you got to start it again, and tedious.
I didn't even do it. One of the guys here did it, and it took all day to do 15 watches because it's that tedious. You have to keep pushing yes on the watch. Anyway, getting away. We've got 15 available. They are $70 recommended retail.
Yes.
But we're going to do a Wheel Torque discount.
Wheel Torque.
Yes. So if you're watching this and you want to get an EUC coupon code,
Wheel Torque. Let's just use Wheel Torque. Just for this week.
And how much is it going to be off?
$30 off.
$30 off?
I don't know.
Off 70?
Let's just make them good value for our riders.
So, make it free. No. So $30 off.
Oh, we got to cover the time that we invested on it.
Yeah, I know. It's almost half price.
And it connects to the wheel, so it's independent of your phone.
We did agree.
Shows you speed.
We agreed on $10 off before the show, but now he's done 30.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe 25. I don't know.
I'm not going to go.
Just check when you see this video. Go and check.
We're off the rails.
Who knows?
Just go to the website and you'll be able to see. It's very basic, but you can, like, if it's got a horn, you can shoot the horn. You can check your speed.
You can see your voltage, your battery
really cool.
capacity.
So $30 off. Discount code is Wheel Torque. There's only 15 available. Once they're gone, we're not going to be getting any more in because they're just too hard to get here.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, at least. Yeah.
Unless the firmware gets easier to work with. Load on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, last topic. School holidays.
Oh, yeah.
It has been school holidays all this week in Queensland, and my daughter's been here, Steve's daughter's been here. And they've been having an absolute blast. So they learned to ride the last school holidays.
That's right. Yeah, halfway near the end of the holidays.
If you follow E-RIDERZ on Instagram, check it out. These kids are getting really, really good. They're having a lot of fun. They're doing cone work. They're doing little jumps on the jigsaw jumps.
Yeah.
They're cruising down the road. But check out the Instagram because I'm posting daily videos of their progress. But also, if you are a parent and you've come kids on school holidays and you've always wanted to let them try out a 14D or a 16S, bring them in. Like, we're here Monday to Friday.
Yep.
Come in. You can't leave them. It's not drop and go. We're not taking that responsibility. But if you've got a kid and you want to get them on a wheel, or you want to come in and try one of our wheels, bring them in. Our kids can show them how to do it. We can help them have a roll. We can spare 30 minutes and get them up on a wheel.
Yeah, it's a good way to see kids ride and get your kids riding. And they're having a ball with it, and playing sports, jumping over little jumps,
they're doing the hockey sticks yesterday.
Cones. Yeah, there's all sorts of little obstacle courses they've been running, and
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and it's nice to hear all the laughs and the occasional crashes and the beeps, and they're having an absolute ball. Yep. That is the last thing on my agenda. What do you have? Do you have anything?
There's just one thing because we were just literally unpacking some of the shipment that arrived. We've got the new pads for the pattern.
Yeah. So
I've got these down here.
So pattern, when you ride it, when you put on the pattern pads from Vidal, they're really, really nice pads. But the top of the wheel still rubs. Very similar to how the Sherman S rubs on the inside of your calf muscles.
That's it. Down here where you've got the...
hold it up to the camera so they can actually
That's
see
where the shock sits in there.
So you'll have to talk so they won't hear me.
Yeah, so these bits go down the side where they protect the top of the shock absorber, and basically it's where your calf is. If you've had any experience on the pattern, especially off-roading, you'll probably find that the top of the battery sort of casing there can dig into the side of your leg, so these will help a lot. They come in a kit with the seat. So you'll notice that hooks onto the bar and matches together with this cushy seat. So this comes as a nice little kit with the Velcro in the box ready to mount. And yeah.
And if you've bought a pattern from us, shoot us an email and we'll give you a discount code. We'll give you a little discount. If you bought a pattern from us, we'll confirm the purchase.
15-20% off.
Half price? No, I'm joking. Free? No.
Yeah, we like to make our accessories good value for riders that have picked up these wheels with us. So yeah, we've got them in stock now.
And we've got a new delivery of Bumblebee, and we've got a new delivery of some patterns and Shermanesses down there.
That's right.
We've got some new, as I said, we've got the latest S18s.
We've got more parts. We've got a few
heap
things with more on the way, an even
new,
bigger shipment coming.
Yeah, hope new tyres and tubes. So we've been shipping a lot of tyres and tubes this week.
We have, yeah.
Like
all sorts of different ones too.
Lots of 16 by 2.125s.
We've sold like 10 tubes in the last 4 days.
What else? We've got a few lazy rollings left. We've got a few lazy rolling jeans left. We've got new Bumblebee colours, some brand new colours in. Yeah,
look, a lot of our riding gear is just amazing value at the moment because we've got too much, and basically we just need to reduce the overall size of the range a little bit. So there's some great deals on Fox, Liette, Bell, O'Neill, all sorts of things from shoes all the way through to body armour. So yeah, check it out. Yeah. It's good value.
Exactly. That's it. Anything else?
Oh, Jesus, your agenda. I don't know.
That's all I've got.
That's all we got. Then yeah, I think
that's it. I
this.
think we might have done that without any cuts.
Yeah,
maybe unless we want to cut out the bit where you said $30 off.
Yeah, I don't know. You just have to look and see what coupon code we use for that one.
Yeah, it's a surprise. Just type in Wheel Talk and it'll either be $10 or $30. All right. If you've got any feedback, as always, on this, let us know. If you've got any topics you'd like us to cover off next time, put it down below. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And also a massive thank you to everyone who watched episode 1. I think it's got almost 2,000 views.
Yeah, it got great reception. And people were
really nice comments, really supportive. A couple of suggestions, which was awesome. But we've got almost double the subscriber count and views, which means we've raised our audience and we've seen the subscriber count grow.
It's good to... that we know now that the content that we're providing.
The number one theme I saw in the comments was it's so nice to see a dedicated topic about EUC. So that was really nice. So,
and also level-headed. Not overly.
You're level-headed.
Not overly hyped.
Yeah.
Wheel talk.
Wheel talk. It's wheel talk about wheels. Yeah. Anyway, let's end there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in about 3 weeks.
See ya. We did it in one go.
I think so.